We'll call the Urban Renewal Agency meeting for the City of Coos Bay to order. And our first item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have any public comments?
No public comments.
No public comments. So we will move on to the consent calendar, which is the acceptance of the July 2025 financial reports and check registers.
I move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Jennifer, it's you again. We have consideration to approve the professional services agreement with David Evans and Associates for the Front Street Final Design Project.
Okay. The planning efforts for Front Street, titled Front Street Blueprint, was prepared by David Evans and Associates and completed in 2022. The blueprint analyzed the portion of Front Street from Market to Fur Avenue and prepared a preliminary plan that addressed multimodal transportation, wayfinding signage, parking, waterfront improvements, and ways to implement circulation and connectivity improvements, all while reflecting on the historic and cultural significance of our area. Later that year, the URA approved DEA to prepare the development of 30% design plans for the northern half of the study area. That was from Cedar to Fur Avenue. This effort was completed in 2023. For this budget cycle, the agency has budgeted dollars to take the 30% design and prepare final design plans and specifications for construction. Staff coordinated with DEA because of their history on this project. DEA provided a fee of $332,948 for this work, and their scope, their level of effort, and fee is attached to the staff report. Since DEA prepared the Front Street Blueprint and the 30% design plans, they are the most qualified to prepare the final deliverable for construction. According to the city's procurement requirements, the agency has the ability to direct appoint this effort to DEA. Staff is requesting the agency consider approving the design contract. Should the agency have any questions regarding the scope of work and fee, we have representatives from DEA attending this meeting. So we have Maureen White and Jim Henke. And with that, I'll turn it over to questions.
I recall us rejecting this part of the plan in a previous meeting because we had talked that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, we had a presentation of a bunch of URA projects, and my memory was we rejected this part.
So what staff originally presented was to actually do the southern half and bring that up to 30% design, so we had the whole entire limits of Front Street at 30% design, and then at a later date we would carry that forward. But council felt that it was probably best just to complete the efforts with the northern half.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
And that's what this is.
That's correct.
I will just say what I said before, which is I do, in my crystal ball, foresee a future where there is no rail line running through Front Street, and so it's a significant amount of money, and so my concern is just that we go through another design phase to then just have to come back again and I know that there's a lot of ifs there, but I do have a hope and a wish and a dream that we do not have a rail line running through Front Street.
I concur with Councilor Stevens that does happen, but I've lived here too long to know that that's not going to happen in short order. And we've invested so much time and money into Front Street because it really celebrates our community with our waterfront heritage. We've got Coos Bay Village, we've got the museum down there. It really is, and it's right in the middle of the boardwalk. I think we would be doing this community a disservice if we didn't finish this project and have a complete plan. But I do hear you, Councilor Stevens. I just feel like if that does happen, that will just be one additional amenity.
Any other comments?
I have an aesthetic question because I wasn't a part of this original proposal. Are concept designs produced in sort of a design vacuum, or is there, or I guess what kind of design constraints does the city put on them? Like, are they, do we have consistent, like, lighting products throughout the city? Does each new product project have to adhere to particular city standard?
Yes, we have zoning requirements. In this, speak to lighting, we have the downtown historic lighting that you see all over that's required for this area. Also, a lot of those things were taken into account during that blueprint stage. And so those conceptual ideas were kind of vetted out then. They were given to the public. There were several town hall meetings, and I believe councilors also sat on that task force.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe there were at least two.
Yeah, I believe Mayor Benetti. Yeah. And it would be a similar process that we more recently just saw through the Empire Blueprint. So very much community involved and helping get the vision that ties to what we kind of do already. So there's some cohesiveness.
Okay.
I wanted to say I agree with both Councilor Stevens and Council President DeNovo. The practical side of me says, I hate to spend all that money only then to turn around and re-spend it again. But I also agree with that while I also think that rail line has a short future and should be a path, hopefully sometime, that is a big if. And I think there is a time value to money and a time value to these designs. And it would behoove us to finish this. That would be, I guess my point is, in the end, that would be a nice problem to have.
I guess maybe for our project folks that are online, do you have any comments that you would like to give? And also, has any of that consideration been discussed with the project team that put this together?
Yeah, or are there contingencies in case the rail goes out?
Yes. Thank you. Councilor Matthews?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo, I understand all of these perspectives. And for the rest of that question is being answered, I do see a way that even if that rail line exists, but is kind of vacated in some way, shape, or form, maybe it could be reinvigorated as a passenger rail that provides public transportation between Coos Bay and North End along 101. That would be one way to separate pedestrians from vehicular traffic. I do see there's a way that maybe the park can help us in utilizing this infrastructure for the betterment of the entire community. That being said, I have no crystal ball. I wish I did, but I do want to get this moving. So I think I'm leaning towards figuring it out. But I'd like to hear if there is a contingency plan if it's vacated and what would we do after that.
Either of our project folks online want to address that question?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, this is Jim Hank. I was a project manager on Front Street Blueprint, as well as the 30% design, and with me is Maureen White, who is a civil engineer. I'm a landscape architect. What we, those of you who were involved in the prior work may recall, we went through a process of kind of looking at some alternatives and engaging the community Is there anything else about the scope that you want to make a point on?
No, hello, councilors. My name is Maureen White, as Jay mentioned, civil engineer. We understand that it's not preferred to have the rail line there, but the 30% design accommodated the line. We have sidewalks in a beautiful area for the community to enjoy the waterfront. In the future, when that line goes, and I'm hoping one day the road will go, then that will become just a roadway. So we have accommodated the line to make sure that we're not touching that right away, and that we will allow for the train. My understanding is that train is seldom, but yeah, it's not preferred to have it in that downtown area. And I have I can show a rendering if that will help you remember the project. With that, let me share my screen. Oh, I can't share my screen since it's disabled. So if the host will allow me, I can share our plan view.
Okay, she's working on it. That would be great, thank you.
Yeah, I know sometimes a picture is really worse than words, so.
Jennifer, can you explain while they're pulling that up? So we spent a significant amount of money on the Front Street Blueprint, 61 pages of a plan. But for the city to actually be able to take action, we need this next step. And could you explain why?
Sure. The blueprint's just conceptual. We have to work through any land trades and swaps. We have to work through easements with the port and the rail, as well as ODOT rail. And then we have to prepare construction level designs and technical specifications in order to construct it, to put it out to bid and construct it. So that's why you're seeing that level of effort. Did that
Yes,
answer your
thank you.
question?
Yeah.
Great.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, Councilor Matthews, did you also have a question before she begins?
Yeah, I guess the thing that I heard in that explanation right there was we're going to have to work closely with the rail to find approval for any of these designs, and I think that's a really good time to press support on future plans. And, hopefully they will understand how much we rely on knowing the certainty or lack thereof of a particular infrastructure in moving forward with improving our community, our downtown for all of us. And so it's a pretty big turning point because it's a very lengthy process to work with that in the land use world. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
Okay. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, so this is the plan view. We have some renderings of the potential cross sections. We have, these are obviously older drawings that we need to go back and, like Jim mentioned, confirm with the agencies, especially with the port, about how we're going to accommodate the train when it comes. Make sure that there is room for the vehicles to move away. I know the train is very slow, but it's still a train. So we'll make sure that we accommodate when the train comes, areas for vehicles to park. But let me see if there is in the future some boardwalk. We talked about that too on our plan. But I would like to bring you back to the front. And the reason why is because another thing that when we were putting the scope and fees, Jennifer, we were coordinating with Jennifer about helping the city actually bring something to reality sooner than later. And what I mean with that is when you put that investment, the community really wants to see something. And this is the reason why, councilors, we changed the scope of work from going south to actually coming to the north and actually bring forth some fruit for your community to see, okay, you guys have been working on, but we don't see anything. Well, our goal is for your community to see something beautiful coming out of all this effort. And we also understand, and like Councilor Matthews mentioned, some of this is going to take some time for permitting. So another thing that our scope of work includes is to help the city figure out what portions of the project can be constructed next year, not only away from timelines that are, for example, any new water work in the bay will take a long time to permit. So we're going to remove that and do it in the future. But next year, we want to have a portion of this beautiful project constructed on time and also with the budget, because I understand that there's budget constraints when it comes to construction. So we want to identify what is the best portion to construct. I noticed that, for instance, the museum has a new sidewalk. Maybe this is the right place to start a project and stay away from the water and then just bring a nice connection on the bay side. So that's part of what we want to do to help you out, bring this project to reality for you and your community.
Thank you. Any other questions? Online, any questions?
I have a motion.
Okay.
I have a motion that we approve the professional services agreement with David Evans and Associates for the Front Street Final Design Project from Cedar to Fir Avenue for an amount not to exceed $332,948.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the professional services agreement with David Evans and Associates for the Front Street Final Design Project, Cedar to Fir Avenue, not to exceed the amount of $332,948. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. And with that, we have come to the last item, which is to adjourn this meeting. Thank you all for coming tonight.